Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fall 2025 Computer Info Competency, COSA 1, COSA 601. I'm Professor Almeida, and I will be your instructor for the course. Glad to have you all aboard. Coming up, you're going to see what you need to get settled in for your first week, along with what to expect and what is expected of you. Now, I'm going to try to keep the videos short as much as I can. There's a lot of information in here, but if you need a break, you do have that pause button. Now, keep in mind, I do have 3 COSA 1 sections and a COSA 601. COSA 601 is the non-credit version of the course, and it's actually a combined class with my Monday, Wednesday COSA 1 section. So those of you in COSA 1 73294 along with 601, you'll be referred to as my Monday, Wednesday folks. Now, as far as my other 2 COSA 1 sections, they are fully online and asynchronous. So in other words, there are no scheduled class meetings. You are my online folks. Now, if you're not sure which section you belong to, check your enrollment in the Viking portal, as you will see shortly. And with that, we're going to dive right in and take a look at our one-stop shop called Canvas. So this is the Long Beach City College website at lbcc.edu. To get started, click or tap on the Viking portal. You will need your student ID number and your Viking portal password. Now for my Monday, Wednesday folks, that's COSA 1 73294 and COSA 601, you will need this same information to log into the classroom PCs. If you don't remember your Viking portal password, or for some reason you can't log into the classroom PCs, make sure you bring a mobile device with you so that you can reset your Viking portal password from that device. Don't try to guess the password. You don't want to end up locked out, because if you're locked out, you'll have to reach out to the Student Tech Help Desk. And as you can see from their hours, they don't open until 9 a.m. And for my Monday, Wednesday, we start at 8 a.m. So don't lock yourself out of the system. When in doubt, just reset your password. And as I mentioned before, if you don't know which COSA 1 section you belong to, check your enrollment status in the Viking portal that you see here. Here's our one-stop shop called Canvas. So we're going to go ahead and continue into Canvas. This is the Canvas dashboard. And if you've never used Canvas before, I'll give you a quick tour here. By the way, if this is what your Canvas dashboard looks like, I strongly recommend that you switch over to Card View. To do that, you'll see this 3-dot menu here. Switch over to Card View, and you should be able to find our class. To the left here, if you click on Account, you'll be able to edit your profile along with your notification settings. Now, I tend to send out announcements and other forms of communication through Canvas, so make sure that you have your notifications turned on. If you need to reach out to me, the best and easiest way to do that is through the Canvas inbox here. I do ask that you allow up to 24 to 36 hours for me to get back to you. As you can see here, I have my 3 COSA 1 sections. This is the Monday, Wednesday class, 73294, along with COSA 601, and then here are my 2 online sections. So I'll use the Monday, Wednesday class as an example here. This is what the class looks like in Canvas. Again, I'm Professor Almeida. Glad to have you all on board here. And you can learn more about me by going to my website at jpalmeida.com. Again, the best and easiest way to reach out to me is through the Canvas inbox, and I do ask that you allow up to 24 to 36 hours for a reply. Our Computer Information Competency course runs for the first 8 weeks of the fall semester. We start Monday, August 25th, and we end Sunday, October 19th. My student office hours are a way for you to connect with me as far as the course and the materials. And for fall semester, if you need to meet with me, you can do that in person Mondays, 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. I will be in M229. This is the COS Computer Lab at LAC. So again, if you need to see me in person, I am usually there Mondays 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Thursdays, I will be online in the Canvas course chat. So feel free to drop into the Canvas course chat Thursdays, 9 a.m. until noon Pacific time. Outside student office hours, you can use this chat space to talk amongst yourselves. And as an added bonus, if you message me through the Canvas inbox during my student office hours, I will be more likely to respond to you right away. So, how do you get started with this class? We're going to go through these 4 bullet points here. Now, Monday, Wednesday, folks, we're going to go over this together in class. So feel free to keep watching as a heads up of what to expect. Online, folks, it is on you to settle in and go through these bullet points. We're going to go ahead and start with the syllabus. Now, the course syllabus is your guide to this class and what to expect. It's very important that you read it and refer to it throughout the course. And as you can see, I have a syllabus for COSA 1 and a different one for 601. As I mentioned before, if you're not sure which section you belong to, check your enrollment status. So you can see things like required materials, important dates, how to get support in this class. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Some campus resources, how things work in the class, different policies, assignments, due dates and grading, missed and late work, academic integrity, certificate information, which we will get more into towards the end of the course. And then finally, the week-to-week schedule. Now, in the first week, we're going to start out with Windows 11 along with Office Essential Skills. So Monday, Wednesday, folks, when you come to class, we'll go over the syllabus. We'll go through the getting started checklist, and then we'll begin with Windows 11, and we'll talk about the training sim. And then Wednesday, Office Essential Skills, and then the Windows Office Combined Quiz. Now, COSA 601 is going to be a little bit different. I'll mention that in class. As I've mentioned before, for the online folks, you just basically log in, you get settled in, and your only real requirement here is to complete the assignments on time. And you can see the due date for your first week is Friday, August 29. Speaking of due dates, I want you to take the due dates you see here and plug them into your personal calendar. As a matter of fact, that is the second bullet point here. Plug all due dates from the syllabus into your calendar. Next, you're going to register with SimNet. We're using McGraw-Hill SimNet in this class. There is no physical textbook. It's just an access code, and you'll have everything you need. You actually don't even need to leave Canvas. Let me show you how all of this works. So you'll get started by clicking on the McGraw-Hill SimNet link to the left here in Canvas. And I just want to show you this real quick here. So this is McGraw-Hill SimNet. When you create an account or log in, you'll link to your COSA 1 section. 601 folks, you'll just use the COSA 1 73294. But again, make sure that you're linking to the right COSA 1 class. Again, if in doubt, check your enrollment in the Viking portal. Now, you'll see there are 3 different ways to gain access. Actually, the third one is hidden here, but 2 ways. Paying for access either directly in SimNet or by going to the bookstore. And if you can't pay for access right away, there is a third option where you can sign up for 14 days of courtesy access. Now, I want to share with you here, if you choose to purchase directly in SimNet, it's $57 plus tax. And if you decide to go through the bookstore here, you can see it's $78.57 plus tax. I'll leave it to you to figure out what to purchase. But if you purchase directly in SimNet, all you need to do is click this button to buy online, and there's nothing else to worry about. If you purchase through the bookstore, you'll get an access card. You'll need to scratch off the code and enter the code here. And then that third option, if you can't pay for whatever reason, you can get temporary access for 14 days, which gives you enough time to complete the assignments. I strongly suggest that you don't sign up for courtesy access until the course officially begins, because remember, the clock runs out after 14 days. And by the end of second week, I will expect that you will have purchased access to SimNet. The last thing to do is to check into the discussion forums and introduce yourself. You can see that we have a little icebreaker here. And with that, let's talk about the ways to get support. So in addition to messaging me through the Canvas inbox and going into the Canvas course chat, which by the way, this is real time, you also have the Open Collab forum where you can also talk amongst yourselves. You can reach out to COS Tech Support. And by the way, if you enroll into their quote unquote class, you'll get a card in your Canvas dashboard that you can access directly if you need to reach out to our instructional assistants. Now, Monday, Wednesday, folks, we'll take a little field trip down the hall to the lab where you'll see what the lab looks like and you'll hear from our instructional assistants. Now, if you need to get help with LBCC technology, you can reach out to the Student Tech Help Desk. Here are their hours. And again, if you end up getting locked out of the Viking portal, this is how to contact them and their hours. I've also included online learning, especially for my online folks. I hope you find this useful. And then lastly, tutoring is available. It's usually available for COSA 1 through the Multidisciplinary Success Center. This is their site. And once the fall semester gets going, you will be able to access the schedule. This is what it looks like. It's not updated right now, but if you scroll on down, typically there's someone available for COSA 1, as you can see here from summer session. And that's basically it as far as getting started. When you're ready, click on the modules link. You can also click on modules here. And if you need a break, you do have that pause button. So this is the modules page. Scroll on down. Here's the first week. Now, 2 modules will open together at a time. So weeks 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. So you'll have to wait until midnight, August 25th. And you can see that you have 3 assignments for the week. Now, Monday, Wednesday, folks, we'll get started with Windows 11, and then Wednesday we'll cover essential skills and Windows as essential skills. Online, folks, it's on you to get settled in and to go through these 3 assignments. Start by reading the Windows and Office overview. There's important information here, so be sure to go through all of this. And you'll also notice that you have a participation requirement. As a matter of fact, these 2 training sims here are required of everyone. It's not enough that you show up to class. I need to know that you're actually interested in the course. And by registering with SimNet and completing the 2 training sims, which by the way, shouldn't take a whole lot of your time, that's a way for me to know that you really want to be in the class. And it's also a way for you to get some points up on the scoreboard, your grade book, that is. If you don't turn in the 2 training sims on time by Friday, August 29, I'm going to assume that you're no longer interested in the course. And unfortunately, I will drop you so that I can make room for others. And this is also true for COSA 601. Now, there's also a quiz. And for COSA 601, I'll explain in class, but you do have that quiz. And if you have questions about late and missed work as far as the quiz goes, check the syllabus for details. And with that, if you need a break, now would be a good time. Otherwise, I'll show you how the training sim works. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So I do have the Windows 11 training sim open here. And this is basically your textbook in the class. Now, how does this training sim work? Well, you can see you have this progress bar here. Right now it's at 0, and there are 24 tasks. May seem like there's a lot, but it really shouldn't take you a whole lot of time. We're going to start with changing document properties. So this is more or less a crash course into Windows 11, especially if you never used it before. And this is basically the textbook. You can read through this, but where you start to earn the points is by completing the training simulation. You can see that this is completely browser based. As a matter of fact, I'm not even running Windows. I'm running Fedora Linux here. So let me show you what this looks like. I'll start with Show Me. So there are 3 different modes: Show Me, Guide Me, and Let Me Try. With Show Me, you sit back and watch the video.
The file properties of a file include information such as the file location, the size of the file.
All right, so that's Show Me. Now in Guide Me, this is basically step by step. And you can see there are 4 steps here. It pretty much walks you through it. And what they're asking us to do here is to click the See More button. Well, let's say you don't know where the See More button is. You can click Show Hint and it will point it out to you. So there's the See More button, and then you just move right on to the next step. Let's say you already know how to do this and you're ready to earn the point. You can go straight to Let Me Try. And here they're asking us to change the file properties on the newsletters folder to read only. And again, this is a browser-based simulation. So you can click on, whoops, and what's nice about this is you can make all the mistakes you want. So I'll go ahead, click on See More, and choose Properties. By the way, right-click works in here. Okay, but as a tip, you generally want to follow what they show you. Keyboard shortcuts don't always work, so you've been warned for those of you who already know how to get around in Windows. And I'll go ahead and complete this simulation. And by the way, if you're still not sure, you can click on Show Hint. And there you have it. So you'll see this check mark. And by the way, let me show you the progress here. You can see that I am now 4% of the way through. One other tip: don't check your gradebook while you're working on a training sim. SimNet syncs your progress automatically. There's nothing I can do about it. And if you go to check your gradebook in Canvas, you're going to see in this example, it's 4%, and you're going to think that you're failing the assignment. So my advice here: finish the training sim, get it to 100% before checking your gradebook. And if you do check the gradebook, that's a way for you to confirm that you have completed the assignment. Now, there isn't really a checklist in Canvas. What you can do is print out the schedule page of the syllabus and use that to, cross off whatever you finished. Or, you can take notes and make a note somewhere of what you have done so far in the class. It's really up to you. But that's pretty much how the training sim works. And again, your goal here is to just basically finish to 100%. Now, you do need to get these training sims turned in on time. After all, it is a participation requirement in your first week. But in later weeks, you can't go back for late credit. You can think of this as participation, especially since it's the easiest 100% to earn in the class. Now, as far as the quiz goes, it's a lot like Let Me Try mode, and you only have a certain number of attempts. I'll tell you more about it in class, but for online folks, be warned that if you exit out of the quiz, you'll lose your attempt. So carefully read the cover page before jumping into the quiz, okay? I'm not going to reset any scores. Don't say you weren't warned, okay? And with that, that's pretty much it as far as settling in for the first week. Again, glad to have you aboard for Computer Info Competency. Let's have a good 8 weeks together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. Take care.